Hello and good afternoon. I'm going to try to teach you to hold the violin and as well as teaching you about the open strings on the violin today. So to start with holding the violin, um, make sure you're holding kind of around the base of the neck as you're starting here. So look at the bottom of the violin. You want to bring it up to your neck and think about filling up all of your neck here. You should just think about filling all of it up, and then you can kind of lean your head over onto the chin rest, and you should be able to actually, hopefully, hold the violin. But for now, you can use your right hand and just kind of hold the body of the violin so that way you can move your left hand freely without worrying too much about it. So, to find where you want to put your left hand when holding the violin, you can either, for now, since we're just pitching the open strings, hold here, or eventually, where this first mark is, where you're going to eventually put your first finger, you want to bring your thumb and put it about right there. And then, since we're not pitching right now, or since we're not fingering right now, you can just put your other fingers to the other side of the neck. And gently, you shouldn't be pushing too hard other than just holding your place on the violin. With your left hand, you want to make sure, your left wrist specifically, you want to make sure that it's not caved inward, but that it's also not bent outward. You don't want to be, clawing in at yourself, but you also don't want to be letting your wrist just collapse like this. You want to have it nice and straight. And so eventually, and also the scroll here, I'll turn it over since the camera's about at nose level. You want to make sure that it's maintained at about that nose level where you see it is now. And I'll do my best during the video to keep it at nose level, but I still have some difficulty keeping it there. Alright, so, reminder, you want to have the neck space filled up, and largely, if not completely, supported by your head and your neck, and then your hand will reach over, your thumb is by that first tape, the other fingers just over next to the other side of the neck, or, once again, you can be holding the body right now. And then, when out here, make sure your left wrist is straight, and that the scroll is about nose level. So, now moving on to the open strings. So, I'm not going to hold it right now, so I can just show you. So if you imagine I were holding it, the string all the way to our left, which might be mirrored for you, so just know that when you're looking down at the one on your left, you're going to be starting with the G string on the violin. Then, to the right is the D string. Right again is the A string. And then our highest one is the E string. So again, G, D, A, E. All perfect fifths going up. So, to get some practice in, let's take out our Essential Elements book, Violin Book 1. And on page 4 and 5, I'm just going to start by looking at the D and the A string, and we'll use those in combination, but then we're just going to touch on the G and the E strings. We'll just stick to the D and the A string. I'm sorry. Alright, so looking at number 2, let's get our violin held back again, and again, scroll nose level. So, for pitching, since we're going to practice a little bit of pitching here with the open strings, you want to put your thumb here on the corner of the fingerboard, and then you're going to reach kind of under the string and pluck it upward. But you don't have to give it too much force. You don't want to hurt the string. Alright, so, starting on the D string, the second string from the left, we're going to look at number 2. Let's count it off together and we'll play it together, alright? 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. As you can see, I was already starting to drift down a little bit, so make sure you got your scroll up. Alright, now let's look at number 3 and look at the A string. So the A string is to the right of the D string. It's going to be the one in the middle right. And it's going to be the same thing we just did, but on the A string now. So, and actually, let's sing the pitch too, as we play the notes. So, number 3, counting and playing together and singing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A, 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 A. Good job. Alright, now let's combine them, but let's not do 4. Let's jump over to number 6, jumping jacks. This is a good exercise for learning to switch back and forth between D and A a little more quickly, since we had the rest there in number 4. So, number 6, jumping jacks, and let's start on the D string, right? Or we are starting on the D string. Again, counting, singing, and playing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D, 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 rest. A, 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 rest. D, D, A, A, D, 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 rest. Alright, and a little more practice, let's do number 7 too, mix them up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D, A, D, rest. A, D, A, rest. D, A, D, A, D, D, D. And so that way you're not just focusing completely on the notes, give you a little bit of a challenge too. Look at number 9, the Essential Elements quiz. Then you have to think not only about getting the right pitches and playing on the right strings, but also make sure you're watching your counting. It's got a little bit of a funky rhythm here. Alright, so let's sing it and count it together. Or if you don't think you can sing and do everything else too, just play along. So starting on the D string, number 9. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D, A, rest. A, A, D, rest. A, D, rest, rest. D, A, D, rest. Good job. So, hopefully you'll remember all the information about holding the violin. You can always go back and look again. And the open strings, G, D, A, E. And we especially focused on the D and the A string. Alright, have a good day.